what if imagination isn't actually random? Every civilization in history has imagined beings that are somehow more than human. Some descend from the sky. Some have wings. Some radiate light. Some possess impossible knowledge. Some appear only at the edge of ordinary reality. The names change. The stories change. The cultures never met. Yet the patterns keep returning. Ancient Mesopotamia described divine beings connected to the heavens. Greek mythology filled the world with gods, monsters, and hybrids. Medieval Europe painted angels with brilliant light and enormous wings. East Asian traditions told stories of dragons that represented wisdom and cosmic order, rather than simple beasts. Modern culture imagines extraterrestrials visiting from distant galaxies. 5,000 years of history. Thousands of different languages. Countless religions and civilizations. Yet humanity repeatedly constructs remarkably similar kinds of other. Why? Is it coincidence? Shared psychology? A feature of the human brain? Or does it reveal something deeper about the way consciousness interprets reality? This isn't an attempt to prove that dragons existed, or that angels are extraterrestrials, or that alien encounters are genuine. The real mystery is simpler. Why does the human mind keep arriving at the same destination? The world we experience may be an interface. To understand that question, we first have to ask another. What exactly do we mean when we say we see reality? Most people naturally assume their senses provide a direct picture of the world. You open your eyes. Reality appears. Simple, but several philosophers and cognitive scientists have argued that perception may not work that way. Among them is cognitive scientist Donald Hoffman, whose research explores the possibility that evolution favored perceptions useful for survival rather than perfectly accurate representations of reality. His proposal remains debated within cognitive science. But the idea is fascinating. Imagine using a computer. When you delete a file, you drag a tiny icon into a trash can. You don't actually move billions of electrical charges. You interact with a simplified interface. The icon isn't the computer. It's a symbol that allows you to navigate something vastly more complicated. Hoffman suggests our perception of space, time, color, and physical objects may function similarly. Not false, not meaningless, simply simplified. An interface. If that idea contains even a grain of truth, it raises an intriguing possibility. When people report experiences that seem impossible to describe, towering luminous beings, impossible geometries, creatures unlike anything they've ever seen, perhaps the difficulty isn't merely finding words. Perhaps the experience lies outside the categories our everyday perception was built to organize. That's not evidence for supernatural beings. It's a question about the limits of perception itself. When language runs out, one curious detail appears again and again throughout history. People consistently struggle to describe extraordinary experiences. The Hebrew prophet Ezekiel famously described wheels within wheels covered with eyes. Modern readers often find the description confusing. Many scholars interpret it symbolically. Others see it as visionary language attempting to communicate an overwhelming religious experience. Whatever the interpretation, one feature stands out. Language seems insufficient. Centuries later, medieval writers describing angels often faced the same problem. Rather than elegant human figures, many accounts portray overwhelming beings whose appearance defies ordinary categories. The recurring phrase, "do not be afraid," appears before conversation can even begin. In more recent decades, people reporting unusual aerial phenomena or encounters with unidentified beings often use strikingly similar language. "I can't explain it. It wasn't like anything I've ever seen. It didn't seem to fit ordinary reality." The interpretations differ dramatically, The vocabulary changes, yet the same difficulty remains. Something happens at the edge of language where description becomes approximation. Different masks, similar shapes. History changes its costumes. The underlying pattern often stays remarkably familiar. Ancient civilizations spoke of gods descending from the heavens. Northern European myths described radiant visitors from other realms. Religious traditions across continents speak of messengers between worlds. Modern science fiction introduces extraterrestrials. Fantasy literature gives us dragons. Comic books imagine superhuman guardians. Even children's stories fill the skies with magical beings. The appearances vary, but several recurring features appear surprisingly often. They arrive from elsewhere. They possess knowledge unavailable to ordinary humans. They cross boundaries between worlds. They transform those who encounter them. Perhaps these similarities reveal shared psychological tendencies. Perhaps they reflect universal storytelling structures. Or perhaps they simply demonstrate that human imagination repeatedly explores the same unanswered questions. Jung's ocean beneath the mind. Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung offered one influential explanation. He proposed the idea of the collective unconscious. According to Jung, beneath individual personality lies a deeper psychological layer shared by humanity. He frequently associated this unconscious realm with water, a vast ocean beneath the visible surface of consciousness. Across cultures, similar symbolic figures emerge independently. The wise old guide, the shadow, the mother, the hero, the trickster, the radiant messenger. Jung called these archetypes not inherited memories, not literal supernatural beings, but recurring patterns through which human minds organize experience. Whether Jung's theory ultimately proves correct remains debated. Yet its central observation is difficult to ignore. People separated by geography, language, and history often generate astonishingly similar symbolic worlds. Why the mind keeps creating stories. Modern neuroscience offers another perspective. The human brain dislikes uncertainty. When information is incomplete, the brain naturally fills in missing pieces. It predicts, it imagines, it constructs narratives. This isn't a flaw. It's one of the brain's greatest strengths. The same ability that allows us to invent tools, solve problems, and imagine the future also generates myths, religions, fiction, and speculative ideas. Storytelling may be one of humanity's oldest survival technologies. Faced with mysteries beyond explanation, the mind searches for patterns. Sometimes those patterns accurately describe reality. Sometimes they reveal more about ourselves than the outside world. Plato's cave never disappeared. More than 2,000 years ago, Plato imagined prisoners living inside a cave. They mistake shadows for reality, because shadows are all they have ever known. The final question, perhaps the enduring mystery, was never whether angels exist, or dragons, or extraterrestrials. Perhaps the deeper mystery is why every civilization, no matter how isolated, keeps imagining beings that stand just beyond ordinary human experience. Maybe these figures reveal hidden structures within the human mind. Maybe they emerge because storytelling follows universal patterns. Maybe they represent our deepest hopes, fears, and questions given symbolic form. Or perhaps they remind us that every generation eventually reaches the same invisible boundary, the point where language, perception, and certainty begin to fade. We may never fully agree on what lies beyond that boundary, but humanity has spent thousands of years reaching toward it, and perhaps that shared reaching tells us something profound. Not necessarily about what waits beyond the edge of perception, but about the remarkable minds that never stop searching for it. Across every culture and every era, humanity has imagined something beyond the ordinary. Whether you see those figures as symbols, psychology, spiritual experiences, or simply powerful stories, one question remains. Why do you think the same kinds of beings keep appearing throughout human history? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. And if you enjoy exploring the hidden ideas behind mythology, philosophy, psychology, and the mysteries of consciousness, subscribe for the next exploration.